Let's take a look at the picture of these two young boys. Just take a look, gather some thoughts. I assume many of you see two adorable young boys who would never do anything wrong. But these two young boys, John Venables and Robert Thompson, were charged for abducting, torturing, and murdering a 2-year-old on February 20, 1993. Now, let's take a look at the subway. Subway's motto is Eat Fresh. Now picture a Big Mac with the motto Eat Fresh. Seems strange, doesn't it? A UCLA study concluded that some of Subway's footlongs have over 1,000 calories, while a Big Mac has around 550 calories. Many of you have heard the notorious quotation, never judge a book by its cover, but many of you have never identified it as a psychological phenomenon. As members of a growing community, we should be able to identify the halo effect in our judgments and in the food industry. As a member of society, I have been affected by the halo effect, and I wanted to learn more about the topic, so I did some research on it. The halo effect is a psychological phenomenon that can influence how we view other people and the food we consume. First, I will let you know the background of the halo effect. Second, I will tell you the roles how the halo effect plays a role in our society's workforce and education. And finally, I will inform you I will give you the inside scoop of the health halo. So, what is the halo effect? In order to get a better understanding of the halo effect, we must first explore the background. Edward Thorndike was an American psychologist who spent almost his entire career at the Teachers College in Columbia University. Thorndike led to the finding of the halo effect through an experiment conducted in the U.S. Army decades ago. Thorndike stated in his article published in the 1920s, The Constant Error in Psychological Ratings, that soldiers who earned high scores from commanders for one quality such as neatness also earned high marks for unrelated qualities such as loyalty or physical strength, therefore concluding that the halo effect is a judgment of a person's character by one's overall impression of him or her. The halo effect can work in both positive and negative ways. Let's say if you see someone and you like one trait of the person, you will automatically have a positive assumption of the entire person. Vice versa, if you dislike one trait of the person, you will automatically have a negative assumption of the entire person. Therefore concluding that the halo effect allows us to make one quick judgment because we only have to consider one trait, to assume we know all the traits of the person. Now that we discussed what the halo effect, let's move on to our second point, how we can identify the halo effect in our society. The halo effect is seen drastically in our society's workplace. According to Jessica Marcus in a 2007 article in The Workforce, too often observers and executives make assumptions about business performances that are not based in fact. For example, if a company is doing well in finance, the assumption is that its leader is brilliant and a gifted individual, that the corporate culture is amazing, and that the people are the best. You could also see the halo effect in the workplace when a manager decides to either hire or keep one of its employees based on one trait that outshines the rest. Attractiveness tends to be the number one trait that throws the rest under the bus. It is seen in the workplace and very often in our education. In the Landy and Signal 1974 experiment, a group of college men were given essays to grade. On each essay, there is a picture of either an attractive woman or an unattractive woman. By the end of the study, it resulted that the men gave the attractive women a better score than the unattractive women. They found them more talented and that their work was better quality than the rest. The halo effect can also be seen in education when a teacher assumes that either a student is a troublemaker or a good student off of just first impression on no academic proof. So after defining the halo effect and discussing the two ways you can see it in our society, I will now give you this inside scoop on the health halo. Simple labels can lead us to think that food is healthier than it really is. For example, take a step back. The health halo is proven to cause people to eat more than they really should. For example, instead of eating one organic cookie, instead of eating one cookie, you will eat two cookies because they are labeled as organic. And instead of eating, they could actually end up having more calories than just one regular cookie. Also, another example would be as a student walking to class and they get hungry, so they pass by a vending machine and they told themselves, okay, I'm going to eat healthier, but they're craving chips. So they look at the chips and they think to themselves, oh, I'm just going to get these baked chips because they're labeled baked, so they're healthier than regular chips. But actually, they have the same calories, just different proportion sizes. We tend to assume that every soup, salad, or sandwich is better than other choices that we make. Now, how many of you guys like Subway? Let's say you're on a diet. I usually do this. I'm on a diet and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go to Subway. It's better than Wingstop or Jack in the Box. It's healthier. That's what it is. That's its motto. It's eat fresh. According to Miller, in a 2013 article published in the New York Daily News, Subway has earned a health halo in the eyes of the consumers thanks to its line of lower calorie sandwiches. But there are plenty of calorie-laden options on its menus, and that's what many people order, judging from the results of a new UCLA study. UCLA scientists concluded that in the study, UCLA scientists concluded that Subway meals were not far behind from calorie intake compared to McDonald's meals. For example, the Big Philly cheesesteak had around 1,000 calories, while the Big Mac had 550 calories. Now that we know what the halo effects are, and the health halo effect, and how it affects us, let's wrap things up. It is important to discuss the halo effect as a psychological influence as a psychological phenomenon that can influence the way we view people and the food we eat. So I first informed you on the meaning of the halo effect and the background. I second identified how it affects our society and our society's workplace and education. And finally, I informed you about the health halos. Who would have thought that these two little boys would be cold stone murderers? And who would have thought that this Subway, whose motto is eat fresh, is actually unhealthier than a McDonald's Big Mac? Maybe next time we won't be so quick to judge. Thank you.